I think
All
we're
right,
live.
I think we are. All right. Hello. What's going on?
Hey, welcome to Ask Us Anything live on YouTube. Nick, so guess what? So last week, I finally changed out my Prestige card from my wallet as my restaurant card and put in my
Really?
Amex Marriott card for the 10x bonus that's going on right now.
Look at you, 10x Marriott over 5x. Thank you.
It was close. It was close, but I just decided that it's harder to earn Marriott points these days than thank you points in some ways. But
Sure.
that card is already out of my wallet again.
It's out of your wallet. The Marriott card is out of your wallet already.
The Amex Marriott card is out of my wallet because I put in the Ritz Marriott card
Oh,
because
I can't
it's
imagine
getting
why you would do that.
but you can.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm
So
not sure that it's a good play. Go ahead. Explain
all
why.
right. Well, I mean, I think because I was able to register it for that Marriott promo, it's also getting 10x at restaurants. And because you posted yesterday that the Ritz card restaurants are among the options now for getting the $300 travel credit. So I'll use it for a while till I spend $300 in restaurants, which should happen in a few hours. And then I'll get those credits and then I'll swap it back out for the Amex one. And mainly the reason for that is the Amex one, that promo lasts much longer. It goes till something like the end of October, whereas this one ends sooner, the 10x.
Right. So here are the two potential issues with that. So I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
not necessarily a bad idea, but maybe a bad idea because somebody has asked, a few people have asked, and I don't have an answer to this yet. What's going to happen when you get those charges rebated to the 10x points? Are the 10x points going to get taken away, or are you going to keep the 10x points? Do you know?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
So if you use it for the restaurant credits right now, there's a possibility that you won't get the points on that spend. And then if that's the case, then you would ideally want to wait to use your restaurant credits until after the 10x spend is over. Any 10x spend you
Gotcha.
do now, you'd want
I
to.
don't think the Ritz card has taken away its point earnings on the travel credits, unlike the Sapphire Reserve. So I'm willing to risk it. I
I'm willing to
don't
risk it.
think
Okay.
it. Yeah, I don't think it'll get taken away.
Yeah.
But you're right.
I'm just
That
not
would
sure.
be,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
a shame.
Yeah. Yeah. So I heard somebody say that, and I said, oh, that kind of makes sense. Although I was trying to already use it to reimburse restaurant purchases. So, I mean, I'm trying the same technique, I suppose. Although it's not because I moved the card into my wallet so much as because it was just happened to be in my wallet a couple of times, and I used it at restaurants already before I was able to successfully register for that 10x, which if anybody out there is listening and you have not registered your Chase cards because it wasn't working initially, we reposted and I don't know, last week or something like that, where now it seems that everybody can register. So if you haven't yet registered the Chase cards, like your Ritz card or your other Marriott cards, everything but the bold, basically, I think you can register for the points, right?
Right. That sounds right to me. The other thing to mention is when I went to register my Ritz card, it initially gave me an error saying your card's not eligible for this. But then after a few seconds, it redirected to another
Hmm.
page where it said it'll redirect to where you could sign in or something like that. But it didn't. It just redirected another page where it said, congratulations, you're signed up for this offer.
There you go.
Something like that. I don't know. Maybe I did sign in. I can't remember. But anyway, it's just something to be aware of if you try to sign up your card for the offer and it doesn't work. Just wait for it to redirect or click through if it says to try something else.
Yeah.
So we're going to
So,
start going on to questions
okay.
now. I think I should mention to everybody that Nick is outside. That's not a fake Zoom background.
It is not. It's the
He's
real
sitting outside
deal.
and cannot see the screen because
Right.
of the bright sunlight. So
And
I'm going to
believe it or
read.
not, I'm not just trying to look cool. It's just that I'm getting terrible internet signal, and so I'm going to be out here to try to get the 5G from the tower that I happen to be like facing the cell tower. So
Well,
this is the best spot.
the cool thing is working. So I
Good,
think
good.
I think you should roll with it.
All right, we're gonna roll with it.
But the
Cool.
consequence is
The
that
consequences.
the consequence is that I'm going to read all the questions and you're going to have to answer them all. I'm not even going to help.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't anybody ask me about anything to do with Delta, all right? I got nothing there.
All right. First, we're going to go with a question from Points Alley. Are there any updates on Amex posting points for the 12x Hilton grocery offer?
Not that I've heard. I mean, some people got points and a lot of people didn't. So I haven't heard of anybody getting that resolved. I don't know if you heard anything different.
No, I was kind of curious too, because whether anyone who got points initially have gotten them clawed back more recently, or if it's been like, if you did get the points past that first stage, are you okay? I don't know.
I actually haven't double checked. I should double check my account now after we get done with this and make sure that none of them got clawed back. I don't think they did, but then again, I wasn't watching it closely. So, but I didn't do very much, as I've mentioned before. I only did a couple $1,000s in gift card purchases, so much less than many folks who are waiting on points. So no, I haven't heard any spontaneous like, oh yeah, wow, now I got the points. So I'm assuming that Amex just isn't intending to award points on people that they feel like abused that.
Right, right. That's too bad.
It
That was a
is.
good was a good deal if you could hammer it hard, and it's just unfortunate that they put the brakes on it.
Yeah.
For anyone with real, grocery, a lot of grocery spend, it still was pretty darn good. Is it still? I can't remember. Is it still going
No,
on?
it's
Or
over.
that's over.
No, it's
right?
over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Next question is from Daniel. I'm looking to book a Hilton property using Prestige fourth night free and want diamond status benefits applied. Know of any way to make this happen now that Citi Concierge can't book these stays?
And not to my knowledge, it's one or the other, because if you book through you could always get lucky potentially. So you can book it. You have to book it through thankyou.com these days. So you can book it through thankyou.com and then reach out to the hotel and ask them if they can add your Hilton Honors Diamond number to the reservation, and maybe you'll get lucky and they'll honor the benefits, but chances are good that they won't, right? I mean, do you have a secret on that, Craig?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've had good luck with that working for elite benefits. It's never worked for like earning elite nights or points, but I haven't specifically tried it to my memory with Hilton hotels, so I don't actually know.
Yeah,
whether it would work.
I haven't tried it with Hilton hotels. I haven't done any of the fourth night free, but well, now I dumped my Prestige card, so I don't even have it anymore. But I didn't do any fourth night free bookings after they moved over to needing to do it through thankyou.com. So
Same with me. Yeah.
sorry.
All right. Let's move on to Todd. Honeymoon in January, Japan and Maldives. I'm thinking I should book a backup direct to Maldives given Japan border issues. Cash versus miles for a refundable backup ticket.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Is there a cash deal that you know of, Greg, that's like really refundable? I mean, I guess you could book a refundable like first class ticket or something if you want to.
Yeah, I think he's probably thinking about how so many airlines are waiving their change and cancellation fees, but in all the situations I can think of, what you get back is airline credit, not real money.
Right. Right.
Unless the flight is outright canceled on you. But as a backup, I don't see cash as a good option.
And miles maybe, but the thing to keep in mind with miles is I feel like everybody that's been canceling tickets has been complaining about the really slow refund certainly of taxes, and in some cases of miles too. So you're looking at probably months before you get the taxes back. So if you book a backup ticket, I would just want to not book one on an airline that charges a lot of fees or fuel surcharges, because you might be without that money for a long time. If if you have to cancel it, it could take months to get that money back. So I'd want to be booking with somebody who doesn't charge a lot in terms of fees to begin with, and has a pretty easy cancellation policy. Now, what does that mean practically for travel to the Maldives? Well, I mean, you could book Cathay Pacific with British Airways Avios, because they have a pretty cheap cancellation policy, but it's going to cost you a lot of Avios because you're going to have to pay for the segment separately. Do you have a good suggestion?
How about American Airlines miles to book Qatar?
Well, yeah, but the problem there is that if you can't change or cancel within 60 days, you're going to get hit with the change in cancellation fees.
And is that true? Like, if they have I don't know what their current travel exemptions are, but if you're travels within the exemption period. Is that still true about the 60-day thing?
I don't know. So I'll pass on coming up with a definitive answer there. My understanding was that they were not doing that with miles tickets. I thought originally that it was applying to miles tickets, and then I had heard that it wasn't. And so I don't honestly know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be my preferred program, because if they don't waive it, then you're looking at a fairly expensive change or cancellation fee. But I say it's not my preferred program. I don't know what my preferred program would be, because you're looking at to fly to the Maldives. Basically, I haven't looked at the airport in a while, but I know Etihad flies there and Qatar flies there and Cathay Pacific. So those are all One World partners. And then your other options are like Emirates.
Probably Air France, although I don't know that for sure.
I don't even know. Yeah.
Uh,
And Emirates, you don't really have a great option for easy cancellation either, to my knowledge. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
No good solutions there. Yeah. I would tell you though, I think I'd probably be less concerned about having a backup flight booked right now, because I feel like probably there will still be decent availability close in at that point, just because January, I mean, not a lot of people are booking international January
That's a good
travel
point.
right now. I imagine there's
Mhm.
going to be availability. So my backup might just be to have enough transferable points to be able to take advantage of whatever program is offering the best deal.
That's a good
when it
idea.
comes around. Yeah.
All right. Good suggestion. And nothing could possibly go wrong with your honeymoon then.
A little risky, but I mean, really, the backup plan is to change the honeymoon by about 8 or 10 months, probably. But
There you go. All right. Moving on to Jerry.
Mhm.
When valuing hotel points, is the valuation based on the best available rate, or is it based on the standard rate?
Well, you can answer that question best of any of us. So go ahead.
So, right. So we have our reasonable redemption values, which with hotels are based on the best available. It's based on what the hotel sort of advertises as best available. If you pick that in the selection box, it's not accounting for things like AAA discounts, corporate codes, those kind of things. So it's definitely not literally the best available rate. It's just the headline rate. It's also not including the any taxes or fees you'd pay. So it's definitely not a perfect system, but it's better than nothing. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And so Greg's saying there, because normally on a cash room rate, you would pay taxes and fees, but when you use points, you don't pay those taxes and fees. So the points are worth even a little bit more towards that best available rate than what our reasonable redemption values show. It's just that perhaps you have other better available rates.
Right. And it's hard because it depends where you get the data from. So all of our hotel values are US based searches, but if we had, for example, used like England, where they force the top line rate to include the taxes and fees, then we'd have a different valuation and so on. And then also even within the US, since different states have different taxes, even different cities have different taxes on hotels, you'd get different things by including those taxes and fees. But anyway, it's complicated, and the truth is there's no right answer for what are points and miles worth. So what we have is our best answer that we can get to without making it too complicated to actually have an answer.
Right. And it's worth remembering that it's called the reasonable redemption values, not necessarily like the flat minimum value or average value or that sort of thing. It's what you can reasonably expect to get without putting a ton of effort into finding the best possible redemption, but at the same time avoiding the redemptions that are obviously horrible. It's what you can, again, reasonably expect.
Right. Sort of just a guideline. Yeah. So you can say, as long as I'm getting more than this, then I'm doing pretty well.
Fine. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Next, we hear from Grant. Hey guys, Nick, congrats on the upcoming baby. What is the frequent miler family leave policy? And will having a newborn baby affect your awesome daily posts?
Well, I'll tell you that having a newborn baby will certainly affect my daily posts, because there won't be daily posts from me for at least a little bit when when the time comes, because of course Greg is a great boss to work for, so I'll have some time to be able to spend with the family and adjust. So probably be a couple of weeks that you won't see me. Well, you'll see me here because I'll still show up for these and we'll still do the podcast each week, but Greg will be picking up the slack, I suppose, and hopefully Stephen and Carrie will give him a hand along the way, because I'll definitely be gone for a bit.
Right. And our policy is for your first child, you get paid time off as a new father. For your second child, though, the first child has to work in your stead.
I see. So
that's so
so the posts,
yeah.
it'll be interesting.
Nick's son will be writing all the posts while he's gone, and we'll see how that works out.
I mean, he loves to write about loves to talk about monster trucks and colored dinosaurs. So if you're into that kind of thing, then the Family Miler will be a lot of fun for a couple of weeks.
Right. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay. Next question's from John. How long does it take to show you completed an offer on the mileage plus X 10K miles for 5 offers deal? I've completed 5, but only 2 shows up as completed.
I don't know, because I haven't done it in a while now. I thought that they showed up pretty quickly after you've redeemed them. So if you've completed 5 of them, I'd be concerned if only 2 are showing up, that some of the ones you completed maybe didn't register as being completed. I'm not sure. Have you completed any of them yet, Greg?
No, I haven't done them yet, but yeah, it seems like from the comments on the post, which I've been following, it sounds like they usually show up
immediate,
pretty quickly. Right. Although one person wrote about how he tried one thing and didn't appear to work, so he did this other thing and got the credit. But then someone else wrote, "Well, wait, if you had just waited a little bit, that first one probably would have worked because it worked for me." So I don't know. I guess I'd give it at least maybe 3 or 4 days before you worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no hurry.
It should take more than that.
No, it shouldn't. It definitely shouldn't. So if you don't see it longer than that, I guess your next step is either to reach out to MPX, Mileage Plus X, or to just try again. I would probably just try again with something else, because that'll probably be faster.
Right. And I guess make sure that you've, I was going to say make sure you've registered for it correctly, but if 2 show up already, you have, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question is from Greg, but not me.
Not me. Not you. The other Greg.
Not me. If you let me talk. If you could only have one luxury card, which would it be? CSR, Ritz, something else. Is it the same as what you'd recommend for your average reader? It's a sort of good add-on to that question. But let's start with, which would it be for you?
Well, you know what? I was going to say the Aspire card, because I feel like the value on that card is far beyond the cost. But if I can only have one, then I don't get any of the other side perks. I guess if I could only have one, it would probably be the Ritz, because specifically because of the travel protections. I get the $300 in credit out of the travel credits most years. And now, of course, as we posted last night, you can, and talked about earlier, you can use that for restaurants and groceries. And I've seen some people saying gas too. None of the reps I spoke with said gas, but I've seen some people saying that too. So at any rate, it's a pretty easy win, the 50K cert for like a net 150-ish for me. So and then the priority pass with unlimited guests on top of that is a pretty good win. So I guess I'd say the Ritz card, assuming that I can still have like a $95 Chase card. But I feel like I'd get more value out of the Aspire card each year. It's just that there are things that I can't get from it that I want. So the Ritz is my pick, I guess.
And would you recommend that for, is that the same recommendation you give to the average reader? I don't even know what the average reader is, but
yeah, I don't either. Because we have a wide range of readers.
Yeah.
No, the Ritz card is not what I would recommend to the average reader. I guess to the average reader, I would probably recommend the Sapphire Reserve because it's the easiest. 3x travel and dining. You can use the points at 1.5 cents each. So it's the travel credits are automatically reimbursed. There's no hoops to jump through. So I guess that's what I would recommend to the average reader. Now, if I assume that our average reader is a little bit more advanced and knows how to, kind of play the system a little bit, then the Aspire card is my recommendation, because I feel like between the free night cert and the $250 credits that come on that card each year, it's just such an easy win even if you don't value diamond status at all. So I think my recommendation to people who know at least a little bit about miles and points, I'd say the Aspire. To people who are more new but looking for an ultra premium card, the CSR, and for myself, the Ritz. What do you think?
That sounds pretty good. I mean, I think I would have the first two answers be CSR. So I think if I was really
want it
forced to
to.
only have one ultra premium card, I think it would have to be CSR because
Why?
um, eh, because it's more rewarding than the Ritz card for like spend for category spend, um, and those ultimate rewards points, being able to cash out at 1.5 cents and/or transfer to Hyatt and whatnot. Of course, yeah, if we're allowed to have $95 cards, that second point wouldn't be an issue. But I don't know. It's close though. It's really close. It's not like
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming. Yeah, I'm assuming we can have $95 cards because they said one of the like ultra premiums. I mean, if you can't have any $95 cards, then the CSR is it, I guess. But if you can have those $95 cards, then I'm not as excited about 3x travel and dining. I mean,
it's true. So I would miss with the Ritz not having the free authorized users with priority pass. I mean, it's not me personally would miss it, but my family would miss it once travel becomes a thing again.
Right.
So yeah, it's tough. I'm not going to answer, but yeah, CSR is an easier answer for the average person.
I think so, for sure.
I agree that the Aspire card is a easy answer as like a card that makes sense for I'd say even lots of people, whether or not it makes sense as your only ultra premium, but
yeah,
it has more value than it costs, and it's the only ultra premium I can think of that for almost everyone it should have more value than it costs.
Yeah.
And whereas most ultra premiums, you got to kind of work at it. You got to be in that niche where it fits just right for you.
Yeah, that says it perfectly. That's exactly what my thoughts were. I just didn't articulate them as well. That was a great way to say it.
All right, cool. So Stephen Pepper has a little more information about the MPX thing. He says,
okay,
you get notification immediately, but points only post after a couple of days, and the completed offers might take a little longer.
Okay, so you should get a notification. At least you should have gotten an email then, I guess, that you triggered the offer is what he's saying, right? So if you didn't get that, then I guess I'd be a little concerned. But again, I mean, you got some time to complete those offers, so there's probably no harm in waiting 4 or 5 days before you get too concerned, unless you really need those miles like now. And even then, I think it probably takes a little bit for the miles to post. So yeah, so again, I'd wait it out, check your email, see if you got it. Hopefully you did. If not, try again.
All right, sounds good. Okay, let's see. Next question is from, this is going to be hard to say. Tuscarawas Jones? Moving on to the question. Under 524 on September 1st, would it be good to grab a Freedom card or wait for something better to come along?
Oh, that's a great question. So I like that question because I feel like a lot of people spend a lot of time waiting for something better to come along and don't consider the opportunity cost of waiting for something better to come along. Now, that said, if you're eligible for a Sapphire card, then I think it becomes a little bit more questionable as to whether or not the Freedom is worth it. I think the Freedom bonuses are great with the 5X grocery for the first year, but if you can get 60K points for only $4,000 spent on the Sapphire card, I mean, that seems like a pretty obvious bonus to get. So assuming you're not eligible because you've had a bonus on a Sapphire card at some point within the last 48 months, then I don't think there's something better that's going to come along per se, apart from the fact that maybe eventually you get approved for the Chase Inc. Business Preferred card that requires 15K spend in order to meet the welcome bonus right now, but it's 100,000 points. So I guess the better is being able to actually get approved for Chase business cards again. Otherwise, yeah, I think those are as good as it's going to get for ultimate rewards points. Don't you, Greg?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I was sort of thinking the same thing you said about the ink card, that under normal circumstances, like I'd say, well, once you're under 524, you should be going for the ink cards first because it won't add to your 524, and then you could go for the Freedom card later. But we don't know how long this Freedom deal is going to last. It could end any time. Is it good enough to be the card that takes you over 524 though? I mean, I would be thinking about like what cards, what Chase cards do you want long term in your wallet?
Right.
Because are there any? So, for example, like I have a friend who really wants the Hyatt card,
yeah,
but can't get it because he's so far over 524.
Right.
So, is there something like that where you really want a particular card? I think that should come ahead of the short-term sign-up bonus.
Agreed. But I think the Hyatt card is the only one that I can think of that would be that compelling. I mean, I guess if you want to marry a card long term for the free night cert or something, because you got a good place to use it, I guess the Hyatt card is the only one that I think really trumps the short term opportunity value of the Freedom cards, though, because that opportunity value is pretty good on the Freedom cards. So, Greg's point stands, but I think the Hyatt card is the only one that I would value much more.
Yeah, although, so I think under circumstances, so like,
well, okay.
let's say you fly
Maybe
United a reasonable amount, but not enough to get status, then you might really want the United card, especially knowing that because it gives you more saver award availability on United's flights, and especially knowing that you could later downgrade it to the no fee one and still get that benefit. Plus this MPX deal that we're talking about.
Right.
So there'd be some people I think where that would make sense. I think there's
or the club card, I guess,
frequent
the club
frequent IHG travelers might really value the IHG card for the for example for the 20% or the fourth night free, among other few other features. So I think under circumstances there are, but yeah, I mean Hyatt probably has more broad appeal because of how valuable top tier status is. But unless you're going for top tier status, see that's still
I don't know. I think that's still good enough because 15K spend, you end up with 2 free night certificates, right? Because you get one for your anniversary and one for the 15K spend. So, and then you get the points for 15K and spend too. So, 15,000 spend on that card a year, and you could basically have yourself 3 free nights, right? So, I think that card is probably pretty compelling, even if you're not spending towards status, and if you are spending towards status, all the more.
Yeah. Okay, I agree. You're right. Okay, let's see, moving on. Michael wants to know what Chase cards can product change to Ritz-Carlton?
I believe all of the personal Marriott cards. I haven't tried it, but I would assume that so that would be the Bonvoy. Oh, I don't know. What is it? Boundless, the Bonvoy Boundless, the Bonvoy, that's the $95 fee one. And then there's the Bonvoy Premier that you might still have, the old one that was like $85 a year and comes with the 25K cert, or the Marriott Bold, which is the no fee one. I think you can probably change all of them to the Ritz, right?
That was you did a good job there. You know what I'm going to do? I think you're right. I'm going to bring up my Marriott guide and quiz you. Because you're almost there. You're almost there completely. But what I want to know, I'm going to just give you the adjective and you tell me how much that card is.
Wish me luck.
All right. So, no. All right. This is an Amex card with no adjective because it's just called Bonvoy Amex.
$95.
Very good. Okay.
You don't even have to tell me. You don't have to tell me the issuer. Just there you go.
All right. Boundless.
95.
Premier.
85.
Very good. Bold.
0.
You already said it. Yep. Brilliant.
450.
Ritz.
450. I think.
Business. No
business.
No modifier.
No modifier. So is that must be the Amex. So 125.
Very good. Okay.
And then the other business
Premier
card.
Plus business.
Oh, Premier Plus. Yeah, Premier Plus business. So that's the Chase one. I don't know. 95?
Very close. You
99.
You almost ran the table. There you go.
99.
There's one more.
Oh, I don't know.
There's
then.
a Bonvoy business that has no modifier. That's from Chase.
Oh wow, I have
That's
no idea. Zero?
Not available new, but it is $45.
$45. I definitely wouldn't have known that. So almost ran the table, not quite.
Very, very close. You did a great job.
Thank you. I do what I can.
I don't think many people could do that because
well,
who would think that
brilliant is more valuable than boundless.
Right. I mean, some of these are just they just came up with the best adjectives and just applied them randomly to different cards.
Yeah, I have no idea how they came up with that. I'd love to meet somebody in marketing and just learn how they come up with this stuff.
So anyway, of all those, it's only the consumer cards and only the Chase ones that you could product change to Ritz.
Right.
Okay.
Right. As far as we know, any of them can. But if you're in the first year of one of those cards, you probably won't be able to because of the Card Act and changing the annual fee during the first year. So you probably have to have your card open more than a year in order to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Larry asks, Player 2 is coming up on both 24 months for Thank You and 48 months for Chase Sapphire. What combo of 2 would you pick? Citi Thank You Premier or Prestige, and Chase Sapphire Preferred or Reserve.
So which 2 out of those 4 cards?
So I think he's saying Player 2 is going to get one Thank You card and one Ultimate Rewards card, and so
Thank You card Premier hands down. There's no the Prestige card. I feel like it's a very small niche within a niche within a niche within a niche that the Prestige card makes any sense for, because there's just not enough incremental value there unless you spend a lot of money on flights or dining each year. And even then, if you spend that much on flights, I'd probably want some sort of travel protection. So I don't feel like that card is a good choice for most. So the Premier is an easy one. On the Chase side, I would say unless I'm wrong, I would say the Preferred, because I believe the Preferred welcome bonus is $60K and the Reserve welcome bonus is only $50K. So you may as well open Sapphire Preferred and then upgrade down the road if you want the Reserve.
Right. And actually same exact story for the Prestige, I think. So if you decided you'd rather have the Prestige, it still makes sense to start with the Premier. But I totally agree with Nick on that unless you're really like entertaining large groups a lot at restaurants, I think that's the one best use case for the Prestige over the Premier.
Yeah, I mean, if you're entertaining groups a lot, or you have a very large event, a wedding, a convention, or something where you're able to be the person who pays the bill, then then maybe the 5X will make a difference to you. But otherwise, I would definitely not be considering applying for the Prestige right now. I hope that they will either institute some more travel protections on that card or other benefits of some sort, or give it a better welcome bonus, or both, Citi, if you're listening. But right now I feel like it's not very compelling.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Michael. Wait, no, this is a different from Michael. Let's see. Hey guys, I got the Virgin Atlantic card in October and just finished the required spend to get silver status in July. But the tier points still haven't posted and usually post on the 7th. Thoughts?
That's a question for Greg.
He also goes on to say, also I'm looking for ideas on the status match merry-go-round with Virgin Silver status. Okay, so on the first one, I mean, so Virgin Atlantic Flying Club has a text number where you can get help through text by texting them. I would recommend just text them and ask why it hasn't posted yet. And I'd only bother doing that if you need the status soon. Otherwise, it doesn't surprise me if things are slower than usual. So, I wouldn't know off the top of my head when the status points usually post, but I certainly don't. I'm not surprised if silver status is taking longer to show up than it would usual, or if that's usual. The status match merry-go-round with the Virgin Silver
Well,
status.
he's talking
I don't
about
know
just status matching to somebody else. Like, so is there a valuable status match? Can you status match your Virgin Silver status to somebody else, to something else? Can you parlay that into something?
Not that I'm aware of, but that's not to say that you can't. I've never looked at that. So
Statusmatcher.com is what you want to check. So you want to go to statusmatcher.com and look at the Virgin Atlantic
Isn't
section.
it statusmatch.com?
Status Matcher, I think. Pretty sure. Status Matcher. So Greg's going to check while I talk because I can't see anything on my computer right now. So Status Matcher,
You're
I
right.
think.
You're right.
Thought so. But so statusmatcher.com, if you go to the Virgin Atlantic section there, you go to the airlines and then Virgin Atlantic, it'll show you initially reports of matching to Virgin Atlantic status, but then you scroll down to the bottom and it says something like leverage your status into something else, and it gives reports of people who have used that status, the Virgin Atlantic status, in order to match to someone else. Now, I don't know of anyone that I don't know of any particular status match opportunity from Virgin Silver right now. Maybe there's something, but I don't know of something off the top of my head.
Right.
Hopefully you can get something out of it. But I think that historically, the easier airlines to status match with have been like maybe Alaska, although I don't know right now what the deal is there. And I know in the past people had status matched to like, what is it, Aegean, I don't know how you pronounce it, and Turkish, but I don't think either one of them are doing easy status matches anymore. So,
Yep. Sorry. Okay, so let's see. Ron, intrigued by the Amex offer for the extra MQMs and Skymiles on the Delta Platinum and Reserve cards. That's good through the end of the year. What are your thoughts? Worth spending to get to Platinum? I'm Silver now.
Well, I have zero thoughts on this one, so I don't think about Delta status very much, but Greg does, so I'm sure he's got thoughts for you.
Yeah. Okay. So the deal is that through the end of the year, Delta Platinum and Delta Reserve cardholders who were cardholders by July 1st, I believe. So it's not something that you could take advantage of now if you weren't already a cardholder. But they get, on top of the normal MQM earnings from high spend, they're getting additional earnings. They're getting, for every $1,000 you spend, 500 MQMs, which are like elite qualifying miles, and 500 redeemable miles. That's on top of the normal earnings on the card. So if you have a Delta Platinum card, for example, it normally earns 10,000 MQMs when you spend 25,000 miles, and another 10,000 when you spend a total of 50,000 miles. So if you're starting from scratch and spending the 50,000 on the Platinum card, you would get the normal 10 plus 10, so 20,000 MQMs. Plus, with this promo, you'll get another 25,000 MQMs. So if you already have enough MQMs for Silver status, that'd be that'd be plenty to get to you'd be within 5,000 miles of Platinum if you had 25,000 already and you added these 45,000 on. But and the Delta Reserve card lets you earn even more. So it kind of depends where you are already in your spending as to how good of a deal this is. Because if you've already maxed out the MQM earnings on your cards, then it's not, I mean, it's still, I'd say it's still a very good deal if you're seeking status, but it's not as good of a deal as if you could double up those two bonuses. So if you haven't already spent your way to the limit, so with the Platinum card, the normal limit is 50K spend, gets you a total of 20K MQMs. If you've already spent that, I don't know. I'd be on the fence about how far you should go with this deal. Or Reserve, you can it gives you MQMs for every 30K spend up to 120K spend. So most people probably haven't maxed that out. So that would be a good one too. Do I think it's worth spending to get to platinum? Platinum is a really, really good status to have. You'll really like being able to book awards and cancel them for free, get your fees back and your miles back. It makes things really flexible. If you ever see a deal on an award ticket and you're not sure you want to go, just book it. What the heck? It's also useful because the award fees count as airline incidental fees. And so if you have any cards that pay airline incidental fees, you can use that to get reimbursed. And of course you get upgrades and other things. So I think so. I would do it if you can do the spend.
Yes, and I think that last part is probably the caveat that's a bit of an issue if you can do the spend, because we've seen Amex get kind of clawback happy in in recent months on people who spend in ways that they don't like. So it depends on what your avenues and methods are for spending that kind of money, because you also have some risk, as we've seen now with the Hilton grocery bonuses that somebody asked about earlier. There's some risk of not getting any of the bonus points at all if you are doing spend that they don't like. So, be clear, like gift card type of spend, you may not earn anything. And then that's a lot of spend to be at zero in terms of rewards. So, but if you've got, regular expenses, taxes, tuition, stuff like that, I could certainly see where some people will have the expenses that they have to pay in order to meet those big spending requirements. And if yes, then like you said, I think in certain situations it makes sense. And also you got to keep in mind that the MQMs roll over. So, if you're already past one of those status levels, then you're just earning extra MQMs to reduce your requirement in terms of travel for next year. So it might make sense, if it's easy for you to do the spend, to reduce the requirements for next year for your status tier. So
Yeah. I have so many MQMs rolling over that
yeah, you don't need any
that I
more
don't
probably.
need them, but that's okay because if I get more, which I think I will take advantage of this deal, then I'll even next year roll over even more to the year after that. Plus, it'll get me closer to 2 million miler status, which I don't know why I particularly need that, but it's always fun to accumulate things
Yeah,
like that.
for sure, for sure.
Okay, and let's see. John asks, "What is the best credit card to get not from Chase, Amex, Citibank, or Capital One?" I think poor John has been shut down by all those banks.
The best, like, what do you mean? Like, were we talking the best in terms of the best rewards on everyday spend? Are you
Right.
talking about, like the best, well, so like I look at it and I say, okay, well, that US Bank Cash Plus card actually looks pretty interesting to me in terms of the rotating category bonuses, because you get to pick your own. They have some categories that you wouldn't otherwise normally get bonused on that look pretty good. So that might be an interesting card to check out, but it caps you at 2K per category. So if you're a heavy spender, that won't necessarily excite you. Now, did he exclude Bank of America out of that?
He did not.
Okay, so if Bank of America is on the table, then if you have the ability to move retirement funds or investment funds over to Merrill Edge in order to get yourself the platinum honors, the preferred rewards program, then the Bank of America premium rewards card that Greg's written a lot about, 2.625% cash back everywhere as a base value on that. And then if you get any of the additional cards, the cash rewards card or the travel rewards card, etc., then you get even more potential. And when I say the cash rewards, by the way, of course, there's the Major League Baseball cash rewards and the regular no brand cash rewards, which I assume having multiples of those is going to mean that you can pick different bonus categories or just expand your bandwidth.
Right. That gives you a bigger limit on the 3% category, which turns into 5.25% with the platinum honors benefit. So that's a great one. Some other cards I would add in as just like great cards to consider. The US Bank Altitude Reserve, if you spend a lot on mobile wallet payments, because that gives you 3x, and then points are worth 1.5 each. So that's like 4.5% back at places like Costco.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is, what was the other one I was thinking of?
Well, something random that comes to my mind, but this really depends on how you redeem points. And I would probably want any of those other things that we talked about first. But the Asiana card, I think, is kind of interesting. The Asiana Airlines card, that's a Bank of America card, but it's 2x grocery and maybe it's 2x dining. I'm not sure. I know it's 2x grocery. But
Right.
the thing that makes that kind of appealing maybe is that Asiana has a pretty competitive award chart. So
Sure does.
I think it's like 40K one way for business class to Europe. So that's pretty good. And I think lap infants are 10% of the mileage cost, I think, of the adult, if I remember correctly. So like 4K, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So that, I mean, that might be interesting if you can do a lot of grocery spend and you're looking to fly Star Alliance business class to Europe. And well, yeah, Europe ever lets us back in. All of those are ifs. So that might not appeal to you right now, but I think that's kind of interesting. I would first, though, be more interested in all of the other things that Greg and I.
Yeah. Then the other I was thinking about is the Wells Fargo combo of the
Oh, yeah.
Propel, which is 3x travel and dining, I think, and the Visa Signature, I think it's called, that
Mhm.
gives you 1.5 cents value towards travel. So you combine those two, and you're getting 4.5% on travel and dining
With no annual fee.
towards travel, with no annual fee on either card. So
Either card,
that's
yeah.
another sort of interesting combo. The Propel's an Amex, though, so
Oh,
if so you can't necessarily use it everywhere, but still,
right.
it's pretty good.
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
ready for David's question?
I think so. I didn't know David had
sure?
a question because I
David
can't
has
see
a question.
anything. All right, David. What do you got, David?
CSR renews September 16th. I've gotten lots of value in the past, but now I'm thinking of downgrading to Chase Freedom and applying for a Chase Sapphire Preferred afterwards. What do you think?
I think that's a good play. I think that the Sapphire Reserve is a good card, and if you use a lot of points at 1.5 cents each, it can make sense. I also think so. Here's the thing. Generally speaking, I agree with that approach. I think that makes sense because the welcome bonus on the Sapphire Preferred is good right now, and you could upgrade rather to the Sapphire Reserve down the road. And right now, you're probably not booking a ton of travel anyway, so why not take the Sapphire Preferred at the better bonus and hang on to that for a year, and then maybe a year from now, if you find yourself booking a lot of travel, upgrade to the Reserve. The only issue I have with downgrading to the Reserve right now is, I look at it and okay, if you got the $450 renewal fee, which I think you would if you're renewing in September, you're going to be looking at a $450 renewal fee, the $300 in credits, $60 in DoorDash credit this year, which maybe you've already used, and another $60 in DoorDash credit next year. That card becomes pretty cheap to keep too. So I mean, this year, because of the DoorDash credit also, if you value that at all, maybe I would keep the Reserve. I'm going to keep it in my household. But I think for most people, I would say, yeah, downgrade that and pick up a Sapphire Preferred. You?
Yeah, no, totally agree. So I think it's a good plan.
There we go. We agree. We're on the same page. I mean, the Sapphire Preferred just makes more sense for a new applicant than the Reserve usually. And this year, more so than usual, because probably you're not using the priority pass of the Sapphire Reserve, and probably you're not booking a ton of travel right now. So, why not save yourself the money and get a bigger bonus?
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's see. So we're waiting for another question. Oh, wait. Nope. Sorry, I missed this.
Nope.
Greg says, if you use the CSR travel grocery credit within 30 days and then downgrade to a Freedom, do you get the full CSR annual fee back?
I don't remember how many days it is, but yes, right? I mean, you would, I think it's 60 days with Chase. Do you remember off the top of your head?
I don't. We have the standard doctor of credit answer, which you can.
Yeah. So Doctor Credit, if you just type in like things to know Chase, they have a list of those types of things in terms of how long you have in order to get the annual fee back. It varies by issuer. Some issuers it's 30 days, some days it's within 60 days of it being billed, some it's within 90 days, some prorate depending on when you upgrade, downgrade. So I don't memorize that. I just go to Doctor Credit and type in things to know Chase when I need to find out what that policy is. So I think Chase, the policy is 60 days. Again, check Doctor Credit. But
Sounds
if that's
reasonable.
the case, then you'd be able to do that. You'd be able to do what you're talking about doing.
So I know you can't see, Nick, but I was feeling.
No, I can kind of.
Oh, you can. Okay.
I see a little bit.
I was feeling jealous of you being outside. So I stepped out onto the beach in Bora Bora.
see that. I see that. It's a familiar looking photo. I can't see it really well, but it's a familiar looking
It's true.
photo.
You know, maybe you were on this exact same beach last year.
Right. Around this time.
Okay. Grant, is there one credit card or sign up bonus that came and went that you did not pull the trigger on that you wish you could have gotten? Oh, I definitely have an answer to that one.
I don't have the one. I have a few. Go ahead. You answer yours, and I'll see if I can decide on which one is the one.
Well, I still regret that I was dragging my heels on, like, I was waiting a day or two before deciding whether to sign up for the Hilton Aspire when there was no fee.
Apropos. After you changed that picture.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, when there was no fee for first year. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
that was a no-brainer, right?
Right.
What were you doing?
Yeah, I was dragging my heels. I shouldn't have.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy answer. Yeah, so I guess for me, I think the one that it's a little hard to say. There's quite a few I feel like that I wish I had done. I wish I had a Chase Marriott business card because I could use the extra free night certificate each year, and then it would give me a little flexibility in terms of which business card to keep in order to have my 30 free nights, my 30 elite credit nights each year. But I think probably the one that I always say, man, I wish I had gotten in on that, and maybe it won't be as exciting for everyone else, but I think the one I wish I had done was the Fairmont card. I wish I had I gotten the Fairmont card because I haven't stayed at a Fairmont, and some of the properties look terrific. And now, of course, that card already got product changed long ago, so it's not something that you could even still have. But I think it would have been fun to get that and take advantage of it. So that's one that always sticks out. I'm like, oh man, I wish I had gotten in on that. But I feel like there's constantly things that come and go that I'm like, oh, I kind of wish we had taken advantage of that before it was gone. But didn't. I kind of wish that we had gotten my wife a Ritz card back when I got the Ritz card because I picked up that card with a $140K welcome bonus, and I don't think that I had a firm value for 140,000 Marriott points at that point. I knew that would probably come in handy down the road, and I was thinking about leaning towards travel packages, but I definitely wish I would have had an extra 140,000 Marriott points, especially like around the merger time. That would have been a couple more nights at the St. Regis Bora Bora or something like that if I had had some more Marriott points. So
there you go. Okay. And Champ says, do you guys have any concern for Hyatt after taking big losses earlier this year?
I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Greg? I'll let you talk first.
I don't have any concerns. I mean, they just happen to be the recent one that announced their quarterly earnings information or whatever. Every chain of any sort related to travel certainly is having a really hard time financially, and most of these will get loans and or government bailouts or some combination of both. And I think they'll keep going and they'll be fine. That's
totally agree.
My bet.
People always get panicky when they start hearing about financial troubles or bankruptcy filings or whatever else, and I say, listen. Sears has been around for decades. All right, decades. And Sears has been closing stores and they're supposedly on their deathbed and filing for bankruptcy, and everybody expects them to go out of business any minute now and the gift cards to be worth nothing. I feel like I've been hearing that for like 10 years on Sears, and they're still hanging in there. If Sears is hanging in there when malls are dying and retail is dying, then I'm not too concerned about major travel companies that surely have earned enough money over the course of the years. That's not to say that one of them couldn't fail, but I would be really surprised if one of them fails based on one quarter or 1 year of bad.
Right. Now, to be clear, I would not be investing in Sears gift cards, despite what Nick just said.
No, I agree. I'm not trying to say that.
He's sort of saying, like, on the worst end of things, they're still kind of
they're still hanging in there. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like a Hyatt or a Marriott or any major Virgin Atlantic, any major airline program has got to be so far from.
I think so.
Collapsing. So,
yeah. Okay. Let's see. Vlad, Greg, I'm thinking about a road trip back home to Michigan for some cider and donuts. Do you think hotels, Hyatt specifically, in the Metro Detroit area are safe places in light of the pandemic?
Interesting question.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan has done really well with clamping down the pandemic in our state. We don't have a list of states that have to quarantine though when they come visit, unlike New York. But and so we're not doing as well as New York with that, but still really good. I wouldn't personally be worried at all about staying in a hotel in the Detroit metro area, and just use the normal cautions of wearing masks and washing your hands and that sort of thing. And I think, based on my advanced medical degree, I know you'll be fine. So, but no, I'd feel totally cool with it. So I wouldn't worry.
It's funny you brought up cider and donuts though, because this weekend my wife was like looking through the local grocery store sale flyer, and it had something about cider donuts. She's like, cider donuts already? It's summer. And I said, well, I mean, it's almost September. It's about that time. So it just came up the other day. Yeah. So, and we're a very similar situation here in that I live in, rural upstate New York, where there've been very few cases. I mean, I think that the COVID deaths in my county have been single digits, which, of course is more than anybody wants, but many fewer than there have been in many other places. So, it's not been I don't want to say not been an issue, but not been as big of a concern here, I suppose. I wear a mask and I wash my hands, and I generally don't leave home very often. At the same time, I was out and about in a slightly larger area on Saturday, and I was actually really surprised because New York State has had relatively so few cases, and I was really surprised at how little mask wearing I saw. So, so I don't know. I mean, I think it probably depends. I was in the Albany area, and I was like shocked at how few people I saw out like in a park wearing any kind of masks or staying apart from each other. So I don't know. I mean, I was shocked because I think that the numbers are so low in New York State, and that was a surprise to me. So I'm still, I'm still hesitant, but Greg says it's safe, so I'll go to Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own. But anyway, we only have a few minutes left, so we're gonna do a sort of lightning round now. Michael says, when Hyatt extended awards, my club upgrades from the previous year missed the cutoff by 1 day. Oh man. At the time, you thought that might be an oversight that would be fixed later. Ever fixed?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right, Maria, I have ANA tickets redeemed for next June from SFO via Haneda to Hong Kong. Then from Taipei, HND to SFO. Is it possible I give up the sector from HND to Hong Kong, but keep the remainders?
Oof.
So
that's messy. That's messy. Yeah. So I assume you booked it through ANA. You're gonna have to call ANA, and I would bet at least $3 that that's not going to be easy to do. Just because I feel like in general, Japanese airlines have like a procedure and a way that it's done, and probably like either that's okay or it's not okay. And I'm betting that if you change something, you probably have to change everything. I don't know that for sure, but
yeah, I don't know either. They seem awfully nice on the phone when I've had to talk to them.
Nice, yes.
So maybe they'd be willing to do things they're not supposed to. I don't know though. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Good luck.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Everardo. My wife passed away. Oh, this is sad. My wife passed away from breast cancer 2 years ago. She was P2, player 2, and she still has 2 active hotel credit cards. Should I feel guilty if I were to cash in on the rewards for my children and or cancel them?
Wow. That's a heavy question. No, I don't think you should feel guilty, but I don't know what the right answer is. But no, I don't think you should feel guilty about it.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't feel guilty about it. If these are rewards that they're willing to give people based on paying the annual fees. So if you've been keeping up the annual fees or whatever, then I certainly wouldn't feel guilty about it.
There you go.
Okay. Jerry, Delta has been very generous in refunding fees if you have a situation that prevents you from traveling. Do you guys think that they will tighten up the rules as a result of the industry's cash predicament?
I don't know. No, I don't. My instinct is I doubt that anybody's going to change whatever it is that they're doing, whether it's generous or not generous, very significantly right now. I mean, because those that are being generous are probably being generous because they think that they need to be in order to attract people to book. So I think that that's probably a calculated decision on their point. So no, I doubt it. What do you think?
I agree. I don't think it'll change. Okay. Rob says, wife denied American Express Delta Gold sign-up bonus. Only ever had one other card. Now downgraded. Sounds like all bonuses will be denied in future. Is it worth using card periodically plus hope of getting it later? So this was a question from the post in the comments of our post. I didn't quite fully understand the question. I don't know if you do.
Well, I mean, what I gathered out of the question is that his wife signed up for the Amex Gold Delta Gold card. It was Delta, right?
Mm-hmm.
And didn't get met the spend, but didn't get the welcome bonus. Like Amex decided you weren't eligible for the welcome bonus. Is that what we're saying? I think that's the way I understood it. So then they're at the way
she was denied the sign-up bonus. So
bonus,
probably.
So I mean, theoretically, the way to alleviate the pop-up, which I would assume would be the same kind of thing here, is by putting some spend on all of your Amex cards. But that seems really odd and restrictive. If she only ever had one other card, then I would wonder how, well, I don't know, maybe they know that they met the spend in a way that was questionable, and he's just asking how to get around that in the future.
That's what I didn't quite, is it worth using the card periodically, like with the hope of getting it later? I don't know. I mean, first of all, you can't get a bonus on an Amex card if you've had that card before. So
you're not going to get that bonus. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's what confused me. Maybe Rob didn't know that. So the fact that she's had the Delta Gold card means that if she signs up for it in the future, she won't be eligible for the bonus. The only exception to that would be if she gets a targeted offer that doesn't have that lifetime rule in it. So yeah, if she gets that, fine. But yeah,
maybe if the question is, will that make her eligible for other welcome bonuses, putting some periodic spend?
That's what, yeah, maybe.
That was how I originally took the question, but then when you reread it, I was like, oh, maybe I didn't take it the right way. Then my answer would be, yeah, I guess probably putting some spend on her Amex cards would hopefully make her eligible for a welcome bonus in the future. But man, I would be not excited to take a chance at getting burned again. I feel like,
yeah,
I don't get Amex and the way that they're kind of approaching.
Right. Rob says that she never had the Delta card before. Other card was Bonvoy Brilliant. So that was the only other Amex card she's had before, I guess. Anyway, I don't think we have a good answer for that. So sorry, Rob.
Sorry.
And we're out of time. So it was fun coming to you from Bora Bora and
in the great outdoors.
In the great outdoors.
Thank you guys. Always a pleasure having you here. Come check us out. thefrequentmiler.com/subscribe. So if you want to get on the email list, all the rest of that stuff, thefrequentmiler.com/subscribe. And if you haven't subscribed here on YouTube, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit the subscribe button. All right. That helps us. It helps us help you. Hit the subscribe button, give it a like, leave a comment, that kind of stuff. Thank you guys very much.
Bye, everybody.
See you next time.